What's up, everybody? It's your brother Charles Jenkins, and to all of my inspired people, much love. Listen, I want to share with you my 10 commandments for songwriting. Now, let me preface my thoughts and ideas with saying that there are so many amazing songwriters and so many people that God has blessed with the gift to write monster hit songs all over the place. And so, as God has blessed me, I've been writing music since I was 14. It's been a hobby. I've been studying it for, I don't know, more than 30 years, I guess, and maybe 25 years, should I say. And in studying it and being blessed to write and work with some amazing people, I do want to say I'm still a student. I'm still learning. And as God has blessed me to see some good things happen, please know that I'm a student sharing some of the things that I see, some of the things that I believe, and some of the things that I have learned as I look at the art and continue to study the art of songwriting. And so here are my 10 commandments of songwriting. There may be so many other ideas. I may not come close to covering everything because many songwriters have different ideas and different approaches and different understandings as they look at it. These are my 10 commandments, and I hope that they blessed you. Number one, first commandment, thou shalt be simple. Simple is the big word. Simple. Listen, simple sales at every level. Apple is the 300-pound gorilla when it comes to technology because at the core of their company is the word simple. Steve Jobs, there's a book about Steve Jobs that speaks to this whole simple idea. The same thing speaks to music. The key is to be simple with substance. And when you're looking to hit the masses, you want it to be simple. If it's overly complex, sometimes you shrink your audience in many points. And then sometimes is a niche audience. And then other times it could be simple and profoundly complex at the same time, but simple is still a part of the equation, which enables people. And there's some of the most amazing songwriters on the planet, David Foster and Stevie Wonder, and a long list and litany of others, even in gospel music, Kirk Franklin, and so many others, Warren Campbell, and tons of others that I could name and list all across the country that I know. Even with it being profound and complex, like Andre Crouch, simple is still in the middle of it. And so, number one, thou shalt be simple. Number two, thou shalt study. Study is the big word. Great writing begins with great listening. And so it's important to study compositions, great lyrics, great musicianship, and study all genres of music and get on the inside of it to understand structure and changes in the music and vocal dynamics and arrangements and everything in between. Diversify your learning. I get on iTunes and I listen to everything and just to hear what people are thinking, to understand, what makes Adele's music explosive, a billion views on the net. And so study. Number three, thou shalt make it singable. Singable. In my mind, and it's my approach, people ask me about Awesome or War or some songs like Your Love Is Enough on my record, the new Any Given Sunday record, or Days of Elijah, the way we approach it, and so many other things. In my mind, almost all songwriters want other people to sing their music. Whereas you approach songwriting, you want to make it singable. And I think making sure that it's catchy, making sure that's why they call the chorus the hook. You want to hook the person, you want to pull them in, and you want them to be singing your music even when it's not on the radio. Even when they're not listening to it, you want it to be singable, and I think that as you look at it, sometimes you can have words lots of words. I got some songs with lots of words. I know tons of friends who got songs with lots of words. But if it feels good, and uh, if let me say it this way, R. Kelly, who there are lots of things that people will say about him, but he's a genius when it comes to songwriting. And one of the things that he said was his mama told him to write life. And so when it's a story that's relatable, when it's a conversation that people can relate to, it makes it easy to sing. Story, great story, enables people to sing. Number 4, thou shalt be scientific. Thou shalt be scientific. Think strategically. As you're writing, you want to consider, who is this song for? Why will they sing it? Will they buy it? Will they download it? Is this consumer music? Is this musician music? Or is this for a specific demographic? So you're not worried about another demographic. You want to ask questions of yourself to maximize your creativity. Who is this for? It might not be for everybody. You might be targeting a specific niche crowd, a niche audience. And so you want to be scientific as you approach it strategically and know who your target is and aim for that target. If it's for the church, you probably don't want it to have such an R&B sound. If it's for uh, uh, a crowd that likes that urban sound but wants some positive lyrics, then you might not want it to be so churchy. If you, I mean, all across the board. I can get into it, but you got my drift. Number 5, which ties right in, thou shalt have story. Story, which speaks to this. Everyone loves a great story. What comes from the heart reaches the heart. And so, from an experiential standpoint, telling a great story, telling a great message, and connecting the dots. And in my mind, inviting God to help you to connect the dots. When I think about awesome, my God is awesome. He can move mountains. That's a picture. Keep me in the valley. Wow. Another picture in nature. Hide me from the rain, storm. Another picture. But everybody has had mountains or been in valleys or been in stormy, tough circumstances or situations. And so listeners connect with life. And great stories are priceless. Number 6 rather. Number six. Thou shalt have stillness. Stillness. It's my 6th commandment, stillness. In other words, your mind is a canvas upon where inspiration must be painted. You got to have those quiet moments where you allow God to paint some stuff on your mind so that you can get it out and write it. And so you got to know that there's space you got to protect if you're going to create something very special to share. This can be different for everyone. And I personally pray for creative ideas. I pray for God to speak to me. And I pray for great ideas. I ask God to give me what people need, or what will empower or inspire or make people laugh or be encouraged or uplifted, or to help people work through tough seasons. And so it's different for everybody. Everybody's creative in different ways. I get music anywhere. I get songs anywhere. And sometimes you might need to be in a certain space or a certain place. But the idea is to make sure you get in the space that you need to experience, maximize creativity. Number 7, thou shalt focus on sound. Sound is the big word. Number 7, sound. Melody creates emotion, feel, mood, mode. It sets the tone for happiness, sadness, anger, fear, joy, sorrow, festive, worshipful, relational. A good medley is the beginning, or melody, should I say, is the beginning of a great song. And so when you're writing it, how do you want people to feel? What do you want them to feel? What do you want them to experience? And I think that's the foundation that you build upon, and you create that mood. There are songs that can have a somber feel. There are songs that can have a contemplative feel. Whitney Houston, one of her last big songs that R. Kelly wrote, uh, I Look to You. I mean, it's a very contemplative, thoughtful, when you just kind of think about it, who you look to, whether it's looking to God or looking to a friend. It just takes you to a special place. I got a song I wrote called Hide Me from the Rain that just kind of, I don't know, it brings you into this place uh, of, of just need for covering, for protection, for strength, for help me. It's a help me type, but it emotively it takes you to a place of honesty and of vulnerability, and by design, that's what it was. And so, as I've heard from people, that's what you feel. And so, you want to know what you want people to feel as you're writing. Number eight, thou shalt take it slow. Slow is the big word. Listen, when you're writing, take your time at any level. Rushing rarely leads to paramount results. And I want to say that because I got some friends who can turn a hit around in no time flat. But for the most part, the best meat is aged. The greatest wines, it has been said, are aged. And when it comes to songwriting, you want to not think in terms of a quick turnaround. There are people again who can do it. There have been moments that I've written quick songs. I was privileged to work with a dear friend, Warren Campbell, on a record, and I wrote a song and turned it around like that. There are those moments. But here's my point. You want to listen to what you write and come back and say, is there a word I can change here? Is there something that can happen to the music here? Is there a word that can convey my thoughts better? Is there a sentence that can be changed? Is you wanna take your time and make sure when you're done, you don't have any regrets and oh, I should have changed that, or I should have had this note, I should have had this change, I should have had an instrument there, here. But you want to take your time, and even when you're working on a record, I've got a record that's out right now. We've been very fortunate to see some good things happen with it. I've already started working on my next record, which might not come out till 2017 or beyond. And so you want to always be trying to stay ahead of the curve so you can deliver your best work. Number nine, thou shalt have a segment. A segment. Let me say it like this, big word, segment. Target practice. What is your target audience? Who are you trying to hit? I know with certain songs, this is for the church to sing on Sunday morning. This is for you to play in your car. This is for you to play in your house. Sometimes they interchange and they overlap. But I got to tell you, some songs, in my mind as I approach it, will never play in church. I'm working on some stuff with the intent of it playing in stadiums during basketball or football games that would never play in a church. And so you want to zero in on your target audience and know where you want it to play, what's the demographic, what's the age range. And again, know sometimes they will overlap. Last one, number 10. Uh, Thou shalt think about the singer. The singer. Singer is the big word. Here's the deal. Who is going to sing it? Who do you anticipate singing it? I said it like this. Oftentimes, there's songwriters that just write a song and find a singer later. But then there are others who can study a singer's voice and know exactly how to write for them and to get into their story. And so, as I've been invited to write for some amazing people, you want to study their voice, study their style, study. I was talking to somebody who had a light voice. And so, who are some other very successful people who have light voices? And J-Lo or Janet Jackson or other people even in the body of Christ that have light voices. Well, what is the approach if you're writing for this person or that person? You know, if I'm going to write for Tasha Page Lockhart, I want to have a gauge of her voice, who she is, um, something about her life, so on and so forth, or any others. I can name a number of other different people. At the end of the day, I think it's important to have an idea of who you're writing it for. If it's for a choir, if it's for a solo, if it's for R&B, if it's for a more jazzy artist, if it's for more of a neo soul artist or a gritty gospel artist that squalls and screams, or if it's for a sweet voice. Um, uh, like a Yolanda Adams who can just finesse and just, I think it's important to know who you're writing for. Those are my 10 commandments. There were a whole lot more. You're welcome to chime in. It's all love, but let's keep inspiring people. One love.